So obviously just hanging tough on port tack, and looks like Taylor Canfield building speed first. He's looking back over his shoulder. He's checking his time and distance. He knows that Will Tiller's right there. I doubt he has room to get a jibe in. So he tacks around. Will Tiller lets him go. So that's interesting. Maybe Will Tiller employing what Anna was saying, which is just push. Dobbs.
Well, copy that. Thanks for that, Scotty. With a minute 35 to go, still lots of time to kill here. They've got to try to figure out where they want to be on their final approach to the line. Lots of breeze. Now, we heard opinions earlier from Anna Tunnicliffe, who said she likes to be behind and pushing, didn't she?
She did, and what's happening now is that's exactly what Will Tiller's doing, the Kiwi. And we thought he'd be in the finals. He didn't. He made a big error in the second match, but here he goes. He's trying to make it up. He wants to get that third place, and he's number 8. He's diving down in front of him. There's 1 minute left to the start. They're still a tad early, so they have some time to kill, but from our angle, it does look like 8 is in front of boat 7, and they're heading down. Yes, they are in front of him, so 7 would be pushing. It's all about time and distance, as we heard from Nate as well. 40 seconds to go. They're making sure that they are not too early. You see the boats wiggling back and forth. They're trying to hook them from below. 7's trying to get below number 8 and just have small overlap to be able to push them up towards the line. There's still 22 seconds to go. A little bit of time to kill, not much, about 10 seconds left. And look at 7 luffing them up.
Looks like a split start. Taylor Canfield bearing away on starboard.
Hard to hold that line. So we've got 7, 6. There's a blue flag on Canfield. Blue flag. Canfield left him up and perhaps did not give him enough time, but we don't have the perception. Let's find out from Scotty.
Scotty Dixon, blue flag. Did Taylor Canfield get too close?
Yeah, we actually called that one from the chase boat. That is to say, we called the flag before it went up, so we understand what the umpires saw. Canfield got an overlap to leeward, and Tiller immediately began to keep clear and just kept turning into attack. And during the attack there was contact, so I think the umpires deciding that Canfield did not give Tiller room and opportunity. But here's the first cross coming up, and you can see Canfield easing his sails. He's heeled over, and Tiller tacking clear in front. So first blood to Will Tiller, Dobbs.
Well, that didn't look like that worked out for Will Tiller, Scotty. I mean, pretty good boat handling there for Taylor Canfield to dump the main, dump the vang, still have enough maneuverability to come up inside.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that he was able to achieve the position that he has. So again, maybe Canfield trimmed a little bit differently from Tiller. It looks like Tiller's jib is not in as far to me, and if that's the case, Canfield will live there all day. In fact, Canfield creeping forward. He's starting to go over the top. Tiller will see the shadow moving forward, and I'm not sure if Tiller's even close enough for a luff here, but Canfield will be looking for it. So yeah, sure enough, it's just Canfield steamrolling over the top, Dobbs.
Well, from your perspective up there, Scotty, is the right side still favored? I mean, did Will make the right move there in that tack to really protect the right?
Well, from my perspective, Dobbs, it doesn't really matter what move he would have made, because it's pretty obvious from off the boat that his trim is quite different from Canfield's, and Canfield just trimmed harder, sailing higher, I think that was how Hardesty got the better of Tiller as well. So maybe Will and his team just not quite sheeting the sails hard enough, Dobbs.
Well, copy that. Thanks very much. One more question for you, Scotty, while you're up there, because they're very far away from us. What's the separation like? I mean, there's Canfield tacking. Has he got a clear line now to the mark?
Yeah, you can probably see the distance now that they've tacked. It's going to be about a boat length, maybe a little more, but both boats overstood, and they're coming reaching in hard to the top mark, and they've got the vangs eased, and they're easing the sails. Now this won't be a straightforward manoeuvre for Canfield, because as we've said so many times today, when the skippers put the helm down, it's blowing out. These boats really stop and stall out, so Canfield has to make sure he trims through the turn, doesn't use too much rudder, and gets around the mark. So there he is. He's done that successfully. Now he has to ease away. He was slow to ease the main there. Let's see if Tiller does a better job of easing his sails. He does. So Tiller, is down very close. It's about 2 boat lengths now. So Tiller's team just a little bit crisper, a little bit sharper, and it'll be interesting to see if they can close up. But again, of course. Sorry, Canfield still holding that penalty. So the lead you see right now, as we all know, is not a big enough lead to do a penalty turn, Dobbs.
Copy that. Thanks very much. I think, Annie, you said that Will Tiller, you thought, came around the mark a little better.
I did. I think he had a cleaner rounding and headed down for the mark a little quicker and made up about a half boat length there. When I was timing it just with my head, it was about 6 or 7 seconds of a lead, or at least when they rounded with their bows around the top mark. And let's count when we come down here what the lead is. But I believe Will not only caught up some at the mark, but he's sailing a little tiny bit faster downwind. And here they come into the bottom mark, wing on the front boat,
and
but
look
not
how
on
the
back
boat look how the boat jumps when they go wing on wing. Did you see that big jump in boat speed?
Yes, I did.
It really
Okay.
makes a difference.
So here they go. We're going to count when we see that bow cross in front of us. We'll see if they caught up a little bit. Okay, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000. So I think they definitely caught up at least a boat length. I was counting a little bit slower down here. Much better rounding once again, this time by Tiller. And they're covering them just like we like to see in match racing. Stay between your opponent and the next mark, covering them and trying to give them bad air, Dobbs.
Well, that's right, and forcing your opponent away from the side that you'd like to protect. So this is happening right now. So Tiller tacking over to the left. He's on starboard tack now. Canfield not giving him any break whatsoever. This is the slam dunk maneuvers that are so classic in match racing.
And we have a tacking duel, folks. This is exactly what you see when it's this close and going upwind. A talking duel.
Not a tacking duel?
A tacking duel, but you know, some of these guys say a talking duel, and we've got all kinds of accents, and I'm a chameleon. I pick them up quickly. So Tiller opting out of that tacking duel, but don't expect him to go all the way out to the right in the ley line again, because if he's in bad air, he needs to engage again. You want to take it back to the middle of the course. The name of the game in match racing when you're behind is bring it back to the middle. The name of the game in the front is take them all the way out to the sides in the ley line, because then the only option they have is to follow you into the mark. So the lead boat always wants to take you out to the sides. The boat in the back, I'm surprised Tiller's not engaging in attacking duel, unless he felt like every time he did it, he was losing a little bit, Dobbs.
Well, that's certainly one possibility, Annie. Another is that he's keen to just keep it close. Remember, Taylor has to do his penalty turn. So as long as he can keep it close enough so that Taylor can't whip off that turn, he has a possibility of winning the match. So the next move is going to be very interesting, is where and how will Taylor be able to pull off that penalty turn?
That's true, and as we heard from Anna Tunnicliffe, you know, it's It's much more difficult to do it in these conditions, but we have seen it accomplished. We saw some great moves in the last flight, and you know, it's probably going to happen downwind if it happens, or it's going to happen down at up at the top mark. You know, at the top mark is an opportunity to slow down and let your opponent catch up to you and try to get them, actually suck them in to get an overlap and then pull your quick moves, or it's going to happen downwind. Again, you have to slow down. Tough to do in these conditions, but if you're ahead and you have the penalty, you have to slow down, wait for your opponent to catch up, and then engage. That's the only way we can eliminate these 2 penalty turns. Otherwise, Taylor's got to get too far ahead, and I don't see that happening, Dobbs.
Well, Scotty Dixon, you're out there with the pair up the track. Looked to us like Taylor Canfield was sailing slightly higher on that long port tack. Has that been to his benefit? Does he have good position now?
It's pretty similar, Dobbs. In fact, Taylor Canfield realizing he hasn't done enough, so he's starting to ease his sails. He's slowing up. He's drawing Will Tiller in closer. They are well over ley line, and you can see Canfield slowing down and Will Tiller beginning to fishtail now.
So this is the trap.
He doesn't want to go for the trap. Well, he understands what the trap is, and certainly doesn't want to put his foot in there. Taylor Canfield still holding that penalty, so Taylor just going slower and slower, but Will being very disciplined about keeping his distance. Again, all Will needs to do is ghost around the course a boat length or 2. Taylor's lost steerage. He's lost steerage. I don't know if Tiller saw that, but he'll have to be careful. He's got steerage again now, but that could have been ugly for Taylor Canfield if Tiller had sheeted on and gone through. But now Canfield, the first one to build speed. Tiller's okay with that. He's like, okay, that's fine. You go and have a 2 or 3 bow length lead, because Tiller knows that that's not enough to do a circle. So Canfield now going downwind. It is, what do you reckon, 3 or 4 bow lengths? I doubt it's enough to do a circle, but we'll follow the action down to the finish, Dobbs.
Well, thanks for that, Scotty. It'll be very interesting to see here. I mean, you can whip off a turn pretty quickly. Nope, here comes another trap.
Yeah, that's the only option Canfield has. You know, he's got to trap him, and he's too far ahead to actually trap him, so he's slowing down. And go ahead, get Scotty.
Yeah, thanks, Scotty. If you can just call us through it, you're right there on the action. Let us know what the gap is closing. Talk us through.
Well, it's about 3 bow lengths, and like I said, it's the maneuvers they're doing are consistent with boats being much closer to each other. But again, Will Tiller's saying to himself, I've seen this movie before, and the only way I can get into trouble is if I'm alongside Taylor Canfield. So Taylor Canfield now he's looking over his shoulder, he's scratching his head, okay, what's my next move? But some aggressive helm movements there. It was, I think Tiller rode a W in the ocean for Will, and Taylor rode a C for Canfield, but really throwing the boats back and forth. Taylor going for the finish, but he's going to go for the standard hook below the committee boats, so you can expect to see Will Tiller start to get a little bit closer, but he won't want to be alongside Canfield until right at the finish when he tries to do his turn. But this is going to be close, Dobbs.
Well, thanks for that, Scotty. It is indeed. And there, look at this. Here comes Taylor Canfield. He's trying to set the trap. No, he didn't pull into his penalty turn. He's just slowing the boat down, trying to lure Tiller in between him. If Tiller stays to windward, he's a giveaway boat. He has to keep clear. Taylor's trying to lure him to get close enough so that he can get a penalty on Tiller and wipe his own penalty off and still stay between his opponent and the finish line.
However, number 7 cannot hit the committee boat, and it looks like they're drifting down towards it, so he's got to have control, but he's got to do this before. Okay.
Oh! close there. But the yellow flag. So the Kiwis, Will Tiller has won the Petit finals, 3rd place.
You know, and I have to say, Tiller was leading out of round robin 1. He was leading out of round robin 2, or at least he was tied for 1st. And you know, Tiller.
But let's have a hand while they're in earshot for both these teams. Will Tiller, 3rd place.
Big hand.
Grade 2 Invitational here in Chicago, and an awesome performance by Taylor Canfield, 4th place, local favorite. So our next match race action will be the finals, the main act here. And we have with us Nikolai Sested. Nikolai, not a great day for you out here, but I'm sure an interesting day. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, we had a really tough day today. We lost 3 matches out of 3. We didn't expect that when we got here this morning, but it was a fun racing, and we had some really close matches with some pretty big collisions. We didn't expect that, but no, it was definitely a tough day for us.
Well, Nikolai, you're from Denmark. You've come here for this event, the first event of the U.S. Grand Slam Series. I understand you're going to be sailing the next 3, is that right? So this is the first of 4 Grade 2 events?
Yeah, we're going to do the next 3 as well, so we're going to keep on fighting and get back to the game. We still got 3 good events left.
How do you like sailing here in Chicago?
It's really great. I mean, you couldn't expect for better conditions than this. I mean, in front of the Navy Pier and great boats and great teams and well-organized event. It's really good to be here.
Awesome. And how do you feel like you worked with your team this week? Did you have good teamwork and good coordination? I mean, are you going to be able to take what you learned here forward?
Yeah, for sure. The team sailed really well, and we started out pretty slow with my pre-starts the first day, but I kept my game a bit better yesterday, so we got actually a good day yesterday, and then unfortunately the wind was too strong for us today. We made too many mistakes, and that cost us a lot in the end, but no, we definitely got better through the event, and my team sailed really well, so big thanks to them.
Awesome. Now, how would you characterize, you come from a culture where there's a lot of match race sailing in Scandinavia. Here in the U.S. in the last couple of years, there's been an increase in interest in match race sailing. How do you compare this with what you've seen in Scandinavia?
Well, there's no doubt that the U.S. match racing is really getting big. I mean, they put a lot of effort into the events and really do a lot to make it fun for the spectators, which is the most important thing if you want to make the sport big. So U.S. is doing a really good job to get this one going. Well, when in Europe it's more like really good sailing, it's not so good for the spectators. So this is really great to sail in U.S. I mean, they're making the sport really interesting here.
I'm presuming that you've been to the Danish Center at Skosol,
yeah.
North of Copenhagen. How would you compare this venue with Skosol?
Well, the events in Denmark is more about the sailing. I mean, of course, it's well organized and really good boats and stuff like that, but it's not so much on the land. It's more on the water in Denmark. So this event has both. We're really good racing on the water, and great to be on shore as well with a lot of well organized things. So it's really good here.
Great, great. Well, thank you very much, Nikolai Sested from Denmark. And sorry it didn't work out for this event for you.
No,
where did you end up in the final standings?
I think we end up on 5th place. We missed the semis. I think we were at the same points with Canfield.
So yeah, that's right, because the tie break and the the long jury hearing and yeah. So tell us about that damage on the boat from that collision with jury. Did anybody get hurt on that?
Actually, no. It's just a really big collision, but all the people are okay. I mean, yeah, we had a big hearing on it. We both got a penalty on it to draw points, so it wasn't a good collision. I mean, it closed the race. We had to stop after that because the hole in the boat was too big. We were taking in water in the boat. All
right. Annie, did you have some questions for Nikolai?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, you just said that you both got a penalty on that, and I'd love for you to explain that to the viewers or the audience here. Why, if you were in the wrong on the port tack, why would the other boat, and I know the answer, but I'd like to explain it to them, why would the starboard tack boat get penalized as well?
Yeah, that's a good question. In match racing, you have to avoid the collision. So if you fail to avoid the collision, you can also get a penalty for that. And yeah, the umpires meant that we're both in the wrong. We shouldn't.
Okay, hey, thank you. Hey, let's give these guys a big hand. That's Tiller. They just raised. They had 3rd place. Congratulations, you guys. Watch out. Ah! Thank you. for the flyby. Awesome. But okay, so sorry, Nikolai, we just had to catch them while they're here. Another thing that happened out there, Nikolai, you went and you tested the water today. Can you tell us a little bit about that? During a race, he tested the water, and he's driving the boat.
Yeah, we had a really tight race with Don Wilson, and during the pre-start, he tried to go behind us and dog us. He didn't succeed, so he hit our boat pretty bad and actually knocked the boat away under me. So I fell in the water and lost the tiller.
Did you feel like you had a bullseye on your boat today?
Yeah, a little bit. We had a pretty extreme day of racing.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody fall in for a while, so that's amazing. And you stayed with the boat. What did you hold on to?
Actually, I didn't stay with the boat. I was swimming back to the boat after the event, and the guys pulled me back on the boat, and we're trying to keep on racing.
Well, they do have a rule that you're supposed to finish with the same amount of people that you started with, so that's good that you got back on the boat and you were able to finish that race. We're going to have you stick around and help us with this calling if you want to. We'd love to have you stick around and watch the finals with us. And for those of you who just got here, this is the Chicago Match Race Center, Grade 2 Invitational. We have 10 teams that have come from around the world. Nikolai here is from Denmark. We have Australians, New Zealand, I think I'm losing my mind here, and my voice, Dobbs, and a lot of Americans, including some local sailors. Don Wilson, the top match racing ranked sailor here in Chicago, and they're all here, but we're down to two. We're down to two boats now, and that's Jury from New Zealand and Hardesty from San Diego, California, USA. So Jury on boat number 2. And on the back of his boat, he has a yellow flag, meaning he's going to enter from the side of the committee boat. And number 6, Hardesty, with a blue flag on the back, he's going to enter from over here on the port side. And we're looking for Foxtrot. That's the white flag with the red diamond, and that will tell us we have 7 minutes to go. Dobbs?
Yes, that's right. Thanks, Annie. Laurie Jury maybe still has some fiberglass on the bow from when he hit Nikolai, probably still trying to wash it off. But Laurie Jury actually, I think he ended up, did he end up winning the round robin? No, because you got a point deducted, didn't you? So yeah, so maybe Will won the round robin, but yeah, that's right. So Laurie Jury over there on boat number 2. The teams are just setting up right now. They've been out here all day, so they know the boats pretty well, but they still practice, and they still want to use all this time to get their teamwork fully coordinated, to learn about the wind, learn about the waves. The wind's been pretty steady this afternoon, but nonetheless, if you look over there at Bill Hardesty and his team in boat number 6, what they're doing is they're sailing upwind right now, and they're trying to gauge the time and distance back to the starting line, because this is all a game about timing as well as execution. Again, they've been doing this all day, but nonetheless, they keep practicing that.
And it's also about angles, right, Dobbs? I mean, they want to pull their sails in tight and see how close to the wind they can point, or how close to that red mark up there. That's their first mark looking up towards the breakwater that they have to round. I noticed also that I believe they've done this, there are no other marks up there. In the past, they have 3 marks because they want to have choices.